going to just run through quickly the mods that I've done in the bike so far, and what's going to happen going forward on the channel, which is really super exciting. So yeah, let's get started. So the first three things you can't really see. Now all these mods that we're going to talk about here, there's videos about them previously on the channel. So if you want to get a bit more detail about how all this stuff works, then check out the previous stuff. It's all there. First thing, which you can't see here, but it's just behind this little cap here. This bike comes with a 14-tooth front sprocket, and we've upgraded that to a 15-tooth one. As I said before, there's a massive video about that. You can read all about it or watch all about it and check it out. But yeah, it made a huge difference, and a really popular modification to be made to these bikes, and something that I'd really recommend. And next thing you can see there is the exhaust. Obviously that's not the original exhaust that comes on the bike itself. This is a D-cat, getting a new exhaust pretty soon. That's going to have the cat back on there to keep me nice and compliant. But for the time being, this is lovely. And yeah, sounds absolutely wonderful. We move along to the front of the bike here then. You can see our little spotlights that we've got here. Again, another video about that. These were super cheap, less than 30 quid all together. Switches, brackets, everything included. So yeah, really good value. They're absolutely fantastic. They make a huge difference when you're on the road, and it's really obvious how the other drivers, in particular car drivers, can see you an awful lot better, especially when you're behind them. A lot more people just get out of your way when you've got those little lights on. So again, really recommend these. The lights themselves came from AliExpress. They were like 2 or 3 quid. Brackets and the switch then that they operate on are from Amazon, as is the wiring itself, like a specific separate wiring loom for it. Really easy to do that, and absolutely fantastic modification. Really recommend that. Load safer. While we're up at the front here then, let's check out our little levers here. Again, there's a video about these. A lot of the levers that are sold for this bike aren't actually the right ones, and they don't fit, but these ones are made by a company called Tech Performance, TEC, and they're designed specifically for the Scrambler. They're fantastic, they feel great, they work great, and they're fully adjustable, so you can get them right in where you want them. Absolutely brilliant. You can just changing gear, using the clutch and the gear. It's almost like you just have to think about it and barely move your hand. So yeah, really recommend those as well. I think they were about 50 quid or something like that. Super high quality and really worth it. Now, the last video that I did was about the brake calipers, and you can see them here and here. Changed the brake pads to better pads, and as you can see, I've coloured the calipers as well. And they really set the bike off. They look absolutely fantastic. Really happy with those as well. I was a bit scared about how they might come out, but the paint job's absolutely brilliant. So really happy with them. And now I've had the new brake pads on there for a few weeks. Haven't been doing a whole lot of miles because the weather's not been great, but yeah, you can really feel a massive difference. They actually have improved the braking performance of the bike considerably. And again, something that's really worth doing. Now, you might also notice these shiny new tires. These are brand new. And because of the weather, I've barely done any miles in these whatsoever, maybe 20 or 30. They're just getting scrubbed in. Interesting to see the bike with like the more road focused tires on them. I think it actually looks really good. I really like these tires, and they suit the bike really well. Again, they've made a massive improvement. Now, part of that is just the previous tire had worn out a little bit and it was flat in the back, whereas this is obviously rounded. When I first got on the bike with these new tires, it felt almost like it was on ice. The bike's so much easier to turn because they're brand new tires and because they're nice and curved and everything. Yeah, so a little bit annoying that I haven't been able to put more miles on them yet. But the weather's just really bad here, and you know, when it gets down to colder temperatures here, they put salt on the road to melt the ice. And obviously you don't want to get salt all over your bike. So yeah, just haven't been really riding very much. And honestly, might not be riding a whole lot more until we get through to March or so of next year and the weather starts to improve a little bit. So yeah, it's just the way things go. Bit of a shame missing getting out in the bike, but it's just the way it is. So can't really do anything about it. If you go towards the back of the bike here, we've got a tail tidy. This is from Evotech, really easy to fit. Looks a lot nicer than what comes with the bike in the first place. And again, really recommend this, really simple, really easy. And while we're here, we've got the little bullet indicators. These come directly from Triumph, so like a Triumph part. Again, really easy to take the old ones out and put the new ones in. And I think they're lovely. They're a really nice little modification, and they're loads brighter than the original ones as well, so a wee bit safer. So yeah, so that's great. And let me see what else. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah, so another thing that you can't see is the FuelX modification, which was underneath the seat here, and then goes in between the lambda sensor on the exhaust here and the ECU. This is a little thing that detects how much oxygen and stuff's in the exhaust. And what that device does then is can change the fuel air mixture, get a wee bit more fuel into the engine. Again, there's another more in-depth video about that in the channel history if you want to check that out. Yeah, worth doing as well. The bike runs absolutely fantastic with it, and really happy with that as well. And I think that's about it. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting something, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think I've forgotten something, but that's pretty much it. That's a coverage of what's been going on so far and everything that's been done to the bike. I've got to a point now where I don't want to just be making modifications to the bike just for the sake of it. Everything that I've done so far, was improve the bike either with the way it looks or the way it rides and how easy it is to ride. And really, anything to do more now is just kind of doing it for the sake of it. And I don't really want to do that. The bike's absolutely beautiful as it is. And if I start doing loads more stuff, then it's just going to turn into some sort of weird Frankenstein machine with all sorts of crazy stuff on it. So yeah, now I'm intending keeping this bike for forever, basically. I have no intentions of selling it or anything like that. And there's going to be loads more content coming up with the Scrambler. Maybe not so much about modifications because they're all done, but still going to get loads done. But maybe more in the next year when I get a chance to get back out onto the road. What I'm considering, I've never really been that fond of this silver exhaust. I might get this powder coated black. Maybe something, around these areas, maybe do a wee bit of black here as well, potentially here, on the light. Not entirely sure, but, anything to do from now on is going to be very minor. Yeah, so we'll see how we get on. But really happy with the way things are. Every time I look at this bike, I'm stunned by how absolutely beautiful it is. So that's where we are so far in the Scrambler. As I said, still going to be loads more Scrambler content coming up, but less to do with mods. And not a whole lot going on right now with it obviously being winter. Now, as I said, there is some exciting stuff coming up on the channel, and the exciting stuff, just move over here into the little carport area of the house. So yeah, so now for the exciting news going forward, and the exciting news is underneath this cover. Can you guess what it is yet? You probably can. It's another motorbike. But not only is it just another motorbike, but it's a pretty special one. As you can see right here, now I have taken the fairing off and just getting that cleaned and everything. So that's why there's no fairing on it, but you can still probably recognize what this is. This is a Yamaha R6. It's from the year 2000, 25,000 miles. Doesn't currently have an MOT, so it needs a bit of work. A little bit of cosmetic stuff you can see here. There's a bit of a mess going on here at the back with the indicators. The exhausts currently, well, they are a decision. They're not really my cup of tea, so we've got a new exhaust coming. I'm going to be doing a bit of work in terms of getting the carbs and everything sorted out, getting them fettled the way they should be, and just a few bits and pieces, stripping down the brakes. 2 calipers in the front of this one in the back. Going to strip them down completely. Don't think I'm going to paint them this time, but strip them down completely. Get new pads in there as well. They're on the way. And obviously bleeding it and everything and all that kind of stuff as well. And then we'll be getting the tank off. We'll be getting down into the carburetors, and we'll be getting them balanced, which I've never done before, but checking out a few YouTube videos about it doesn't seem to be that difficult. So this thing's an absolute beast, incidentally. If you don't know what an R6 is, the 600cc 4-cylinder motorbike can rev to an almost unbelievable 15,500 RPM. You can see the rev gauge there. Goes right the way up to 18. 15.5 in its standard configuration. It sounds absolutely beautiful, as you can imagine. It's completely stunning. So over the winter, while I can't ride too much and I'm not going to be out in the Scrambler, what we're going to be doing is fixing up this thing right here, getting this back in the road with an MOT, and also hopefully next summer, going to do a few track days with it as well. So yeah, and this is a perfect. I mean, this is a race bike for the road. They're made as a race machine, and they make some road going versions of them, and that's what this is. So it's a very much race focused machine. Don't really intend to ride it on the road very much. I've got my scrambler for that. And it's perfect for the roads around here. This thing's way too much for any public road, in all honesty. So maybe take it out for the odd little spin, but don't really intend to be on the road with it too much. And it's just going to be on the track instead. So yeah, as I said, we're not ignoring the scrambler. There's still going to be plenty of scrambler stuff going on. You can see it over there, sat out in the sunshine. Still going to be plenty of scrambler stuff going on as well. But also going forward, we're going to be doing this beast up, getting it looking nice and pretty, getting everything running perfectly as it should be, and then getting it out there. And as I said, potentially getting it out on the track as well. So really, really looking forward to that. It's in a bit of a sorry state right now. It does run though, and you want to hear it. Can't start it up right now because I've taken the battery out. I'm going to be doing an oil change later. And that'll be the kind of first mechanical thing other than the fairings that we're going to get done on it. So yeah, really excited. I can't stress enough how special a machine this is. It's my absolute dream bike. I've been obsessed with these. Back in 2000, whenever these came out, I was 22. And I just was desperate to get one of these. I did take one out for a spin back then. And as soon as I got off it, I was like, I'm not buying this because I'll probably be dead in a couple of weeks if I do, because they're just mental. Now I'm a little bit older and apparently a bit more sensible. So yeah, it's a bit more appropriate to have now. But as I said, I'm still not going to be really on the road with this because they're just a bit too mental for that. So really exciting stuff. Going to be loads of cool content coming up, as you can see. And as I said, don't forget, I'm still going to be doing stuff for the Scrambler, but stuff for the R6 now as well. And yeah, really, really excited to get this thing up and running and just looking as special as it deserves to look, because they really are a really special machine. And hopefully, at the point now where they've probably hit the rock bottom in terms of pricing, and the pricing is probably going to go up from here on. So a really good time to buy something like this. I've got a little bit of leeway. The guy I bought it off gave me a really good price on it. So there's got a little bit of leeway where I can spend a little bit of money and not end up in a position where I've spent thousands in a bike that's not worth anything like that. I can probably spend 600-700 quid. And if I do that, then I'll see that back in the value of the bike. So yeah, got a little bit of leeway to work with there as well. And it doesn't really need, despite the way it looks right now, it doesn't really need a whole lot of work. And it's going to be really cool and really special to have this thing up and running. So that's where we're at right now. As I said before, all the mods that we spoke about there are more in-depth videos about that on the channel. So if you want to check that out, just look at the channel history and you can see, individual videos for each of the mods. Yeah, like, and don't forget to like the video. I really appreciate that when you do that. And also, if you're new here, subscribe. Going forward, what you're subscribing for are videos about the most beautiful bike in the world, the Triumph Scrambler 400, and also then this absolute race thoroughbred machine, and getting this thing up and running and going forward with this as well. So really cool stuff, really exciting stuff going forward. Really excited to bring that content to you. And also, as always, really appreciate watching the video and getting right the way to the end. And thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.